This is I Read Old Media. Today's article is from a magazine called Liberty from July 4th, 1936. The price on the cover is 5 cents. The article is called Do the Munition Makers Cause War? A distinguished Army man speaks his mind on some grim realities, by Major General Johnson Hagood. And it says the reading time is 4 minutes and 55 seconds. When Adam and Eve were cast out of the Garden of Eden, they entered into a world of conflict. They found the vegetables fighting for their food. They found the animals fighting for their food and for love. And they found that man must fight not only for his food and for love, but also for his principles. America lives today because there were men who could say, quote, "Give me liberty or give me death," end quote. Christianity lives today because there were men and women who could stand at the stake and die. War is one of the cruel things that Almighty God in His wisdom has inflicted upon human beings. Wars will continue so long as there be wicked men who disobey the commandments, and righteous men will fight for their principles. There are those who talk of taking the profit out of war. It would be better to take the graft out of peace. Munition makers do not cause wars. The word munitions includes all army supplies, and the god of war cannot be identified with any one vocation or trade. No more stupid blow could be struck at national defense than to prescribe by law that those things that are most essential and hardest to get in time of war might be manufactured by the government only. For a long time, the world's wars were caused by religion. More recently, wars have been caused by politics. Our French and Indian wars were caused by efforts to rid this country of Indians. The American Revolution was caused by our unwillingness to submit to a form of government that has been quite satisfactory to Canada. The Mexican War was caused by our desire to extend our holdings. The Great Civil War was caused by political squabbles that started before the Constitution. During the past 50 years, we have turned our attention to other people's politics. We did not like the way things were going in Cuba. We wanted to teach the Filipinos how to govern themselves. We thought that Diaz was a tyrant, so we gave our moral support to Maduro and precipitated anarchy in Mexico. We gave our sympathy to Japan against Russia. Subsequently, we sent congratulations to the Russian revolutionists when they overturned the throne of the Tsar. We muddled in the politics and religion of China and gave our moral support to the overthrow of a form of government that had lasted since the beginning of the pyramids, and the substitution of an interesting experiment that had been tried out many times and had failed. We entered the World War to make the world safe for democracy. The young American believes that his country has never been engaged in an unrighteous war. The young men of other countries believe likewise of theirs. But there are Pharisees among us. There are those who say, "We thank Thee, O God, that we are better than other men. We thank Thee that we are more just, more tolerant, more intelligent than those who have gone before us. You need not worry about us any more. The day is at hand for peace on earth and goodwill toward men. And because of our superior intellects, you may depend upon us to put an end to all strife. We have a simple plan. We shall persuade all men to think as we think, to do as we do, to accept our division of the spoils as they have been determined by previous wars. We have drawn little lines on the map, and hereafter we shall compel all men to keep on their own side of the fence. But there are also publicans who bow their heads in shame and say, God, be merciful unto us miserable sinners. Forgive us for our iniquities. Guide us in thy path. Make us willing at all times to lay down our lives for what we believe to be the right. Keep us out of war, but if war comes, make us fight the good fight. Make us fight for God, for home, and for country, and forgive us if we be wrong. But praying for peace is not sufficient. There never was a time in the history of America when there was more need to work for peace. There never was a time when there was greater danger of wars from within as well as of wars from without. Within the past year, 43 out of our 48 governors have turned out the militia to enforce their demands. There have been cow wars to prevent the enforcement of quarantine. There have been milk wars. There have been mortgage wars. There have been political wars. There have been oil wars and wars to prevent the shutting off of power and light. And there have been other kinds of wars that so far have not met with armed resistance. The outside world is engaged in war. Rumblings reach us from across both oceans. Our palms itch for the foreign trade. We stand ready to interfere in the quarrels of our neighbors. The prevention of war lies in the field of statesmanship. There cannot be too many peace societies. There cannot be too much done to impress the horrors of war upon our youth. But whatever great advances we have made in the prevention of disease, we are not yet permitted to do away with doctors and druggists. The time has not yet come and will never come when diplomacy must not be backed up by force. And if the institutions of America are not to perish off the face of the earth, America must be able to defend itself. Preparedness never has and never will give us absolute assurance of peace. But so long as America concerns itself with its own affairs, so long will it be reasonably assured of peace, if at all times it be strong enough to enforce the law. Private property, keep out. A two-ocean navy, each capable of standing off any other navy in our own waters. An army of citizen soldiers capable of standing off any and all other armies that could be brought against us in our own country. This is what might be called an adequate national defense. Such a defense would cost only about 2 cents per capita per day. It cannot guarantee us against the shedding of blood, but it does mean that America would prevail in the end. The end.